It's simple. You need more views. If you own a business, everything you want to change and improve can be answered with one solution. Get more views. You want more sales, more profit? You need more views. You want to hire better people? You need more views. You want to grow your personal brand? You need more views. You want more leads? You need more views. You want better leads for your sales team? More views. Never in history of making money has there ever been such a single issue. You know, they call this in voting, they call this a single issue voter. Well, I'm going to break down. I have a personal brand. I've done many, billions of views. And I'm just going to lay this out for you very simple. The breakdown, the dissection of how you can do that. Now, you may not get 1 billion views. You may not even get 500 million views. But if you follow what I'm going to show you here, because I'm going to give you there's only 3 main strategies now. There's 4.5 billion people who have a smartphone. There's only 3 main strategies to get them watching, learning, buying through social media. Now, here's the good news. Never before has there been 4.5 billion people with a phone that you could reach with your videos, your products, your images, okay? But this is a single issue dilemma. I love those. I mean, imagine, like when people, you want to become a pro bodybuilder, you have to do 8 things right. You got to sleep more, you got to lift more, you got to eat more protein. If you want to find love, it's more than one thing. You need to be smart. You need to be making money. You need to be good looking. But right now, when it comes to making money with a business, let me give you 2 scenarios. One person is really good at running a business and they have a good product. Who do you think is going to make more? But they're not good at getting views. So not that many people know about their product. And this person over here has a decent product and is decent at operations, but not very good. Doesn't really know how to run a business, but gets 10 times more views. Who do you think wins? This is the domino that if you knock it down, you knock everything down, essentially. I was saying, even things you would not predict would be helped by views are helped by views. Because I get a lot of views. I have 12 million social media followers across all the different platforms, if you add them up. When I want to hire people, I'll go, I'm hiring. I've gotten 17,000 applications for free in 1 week because I get a lot of views. And I've been getting views for more than a decade, In my niche, I'm one of the most viewed people. So what you have to do is just follow these 3 things so you get a lot of views. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'll put later in the video. From time to time, will do it for you. Okay, but it's not guaranteed. I only do it for certain type businesses and situations. But I have my own internal social media team that knows precisely how to get me a lot of views. And if you look around, you'll see different influencers talking about their strategy. And, they'll say, oh, we're spending $300,000 a month. One of my students, he's doing, what did I see? He's doing 250 million views. He's spending, he's got almost 100 video editors and all this strategy stuff. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm going to lay it out. And I'm not going to oversimplify it, okay? So if you're looking for the world's most, simple video, you're at the wrong place. Okay, now, I have a 100 million plus personal social media brand. I've done more sales than 100 million. I just round it down, okay? But here's what you got to do. The 1, 2, 3. The first potential strategy is get really good at remixing and sequencing trending topics. Okay? Number 1, get really good at researching, and it's called sequencing if you look at something like Instagram Reels. You sequence. So for example, I'm going to use my social media. This is one of my accounts. This is an Instagram account. It has 2.9 million followers. Some of you follow me at Ty Lopez. Okay. Here's an example of a remix that I did. Remixes in general, I took a guy from 3,000 followers this year. In 3 months, he's at 53,000. His average views was 300 to 500 views. Now he's getting on average 30,000. Okay. And I did that primarily by teaching him how to remix and sequence. So I'm just going to try to find a good one that I've done in the last week or two. And the cool thing about remix, you're just remixing, sequencing stuff that's already viral. But I like to use Google Trends. Google Trends will allow you to do what? Google Trends will allow you to see what's trending that day. Here's one I did. It's 298,000. It's a sequence of this woman talking, right? And then it cuts over after. I like to sequence no more than 8 to 10 seconds and then it switches to me. I was in bed. That one generated a couple hundred leads, 156. I just did one. I post a lot, so I'm trying to find it. Here's one I did about, a political one. Here's one I did. I just did one that went crazy, and it generated 6,000 leads for me because I combined it with AI. It was just a sequence of these guys that did this really interesting marketing. I put 8 seconds of their video, which was already a trending video, and then I put my own spin. So that's number one. I'll talk about that more later. You can remix, you can sequence. It's a little trickier than that, but I'm trying to cover a lot of ground quickly. Okay, the second thing you can do, and I hate this way, and a lot of people do it, but I've never done it. You can buy fake followers and fake views, bot views. And I see people doing that, and it always backfires. Okay, it's just like an ego thing. People are like, I can quickly get to but eventually the algorithm figures it out. Remember, all these algorithms, YouTube, Twitter, or X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snap, they're all run by a couple hundred geniuses reprogramming that algorithm. They see the sketchy stuff people are doing, and they basically switch the algorithm to penalize you. So that way, to get more views and followers, it pretty much fails, but it works for about 3 to 6 months. So people get their ego boosted, and you essentially don't have to do any work because it's all fake. But like I said, don't do that. I've never seen it be remotely successful. Okay, the third way is by creating, I call mine my viral army. You create a viral army. These are people who essentially repost your content on their social media. Like they'll have faceless theme pages. They're motivational pages. There's like a page called @wealth. @wealth is a guy who actually, follower of mine. We've talked over the years. He makes millions of dollars. He has a faceless page. You never see his face. And for him, because he has such a big one, you'll have to pay him. But there's other upfront usually. But there's other ways now. They call them clipping armies. There's different words that people have for them, clippers. But they're essentially reposting your content. Now, this way works very well. Like for my, main, I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a lot more than 100 million a month. Okay. And I can about double just from my own accounts, but then I can double it by creating a viral army. Now, there's different ways you can do it. Because I get a lot of views, I built my own viral army. So I have, 1,500 people in my viral army that I put out. I say, here, this clip did well, repost it, I'll pay you per view. So there's not fake views. I'm just rewarding them for posting. But sometimes it doesn't get much views and I don't pay them that much. So we're never inflating the views, okay? There's also affiliate networks now that you can go on. Now, here, I want to give this disclaimer because I see people now going, I'm going to figure out how to do this on my own, Ty. I'm just going to go and take my content and pay other people to repost. Well, here is the crux. Here is the core reason that fails for 90% of people, okay? You have to know the elements of a viral video. So here's one. Let me just pick something in the last day or two off my Instagram. So here's one right here. This one's been going crazy. It's at, between Instagram and TikTok, I think it's at 10 million views in 24, maybe 48 hours now. It's the same.
Psychological truth that you must know. Sigmund Freud said this. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Beware of people who seem too virtuous, who seem too good. they might be hiding something. And on the flip side, just remember somebody who's rough around the edges, someone who's always not the absolute nicest. They might be your most loyal friend in time of need. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So that got, it's crazy. This one has 293,000 likes. Here, you can, I'll show you my insights. So they got 296,000. You can see 114,000 shares, 63,000 bookmarks. It's 93% non-followers, which is good. It's getting me more money from people that don't know about me. If you look at the TikTok is even crazier. Let's see what it's at right now. Right now on TikTok, you can see it. It's at 4.8 million. But let me look at the insights here. So, and by the way, that last one I showed you on Instagram got me 15,000 follows for free. For free. 15,000 follows for free. There are people out here paying $2, $3 for followers, and they're not even real. I'm getting real followers that, let's say they're worth $3. I made 50,000 from that video of just followers. But this one here, you could see the engagement. This one has 415,000 likes. That's the power of, but that's a well-crafted video. And this is the core of the matter. If you think a simple little hack, like remixing in sequence, number one. Hopefully you're not doing number two. Or number three, you just pay other people to repost. I've also seen a strategy. Here's a strategy that fails. This is a forced strategy. I had a guy do this and he lost $600,000 in a year. I told him it was going to fail, but that is where you hire your own video guy to follow you around. You know, you get a couple editors randomly. That doesn't work anymore. It's too competitive of a game. Like he literally spent $750,000 in a year and made back like $200,000. I told him to call me in a year because I was like, "You're too cocky." And he, sure enough, called me in March. He was like, "Well, it didn't work at all." And his strategy, you know, was, well, it looks like all you need is a camera and you just kind of talk about stuff. But his videos were cheesy. They were cliche. They didn't have high VRIN score, VRIN. What does VRIN mean? Value, rarity, inimitability, and non-substitution. So they have mass value. They spike people's dopamine. They're rare, so there's high scarcity. They're inimitable. That means it's hard for other people to recreate that. They wouldn't have been able to think of it on their own. That's high authority. And then they're no substitutes, non-substitutable. That means you're authentic and unique, so there's no other replacements. They couldn't just go, "Oh, I don't need to watch Ty, I'll go watch somebody else." So high VRIN score is the crux of the matter. Now, VRIN is actually a phrase that I've made it popular in the last 10 years, but I got it, to be honest. I told people this, I never claimed. I got it from an old Harvard textbook from the 1960s or something. That's why I like to read. I find all these ninja tricks. And I've been using VRIN on a 1 to 10 to know whether my content is worth sequencing or whether it's worth getting other people to post it for me. Okay, so if you master VRIN score, you will master everything. If you master VRIN score, then anything you do will get more views. Now, there's people like me, you know, it's funny. On the other day, it was posted in my company chat. If you look at, you ask ChatGPT, I'll show you the screenshots here. They're in it. If you ask ChatGPT, who's the, let's see, I'll read you the exact words here. It's essentially, who's the top 10 people? Oh, here it is. Here's the question. Who are the top 10 social media marketers in human history? People have made money from their social media, not just like twerking. Here, and then ChatGPT said, here's the rank list. Number 1, Kylie Jenner, the Kardashians. You can see there, the screenshot. Number 2, Mr. Beast. Number 3, Kim Kardashian. Number 4, Ty Lopez. Number 5, Jake Paul. Number 6, anyway, it just keeps going list. So I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just telling you, when I tell you that just grabbing a camera and getting a video editing crew that tells you they're going to edit your videos, and that means nothing. Nothing. I had a call with one of my private clients. I mentor people on how to grow and get more views and stuff. And as a guy in DC, he does he teaches people he's a coach, he's also a real estate developer, but he's a specialist in getting government contracts. He's in DC, teach other people. So I was like, how's your podcast going? He's like, I've been doing it for 2 years. And I said, go to your Apple and Spotify. And I said, look at the average amount of views you're getting or downloads per podcast episode. 12. I said, my friend, what are you doing? So I just want you to know that in this game, you will not be rewarded for effort. You can post for 2 years, 2 podcasts a week. This guy posted like 2 podcasts a week for 2 years, 100 months. 100 weeks times 2. And the average one, the algorithms, it's not high VRIN score. It's relatively boring. It's cliche. People have heard of it before. There's nothing unique. There's no unique angle. It's not remotely intellectual. It's not remotely entertaining. It's not edutainment. Like, it's just violating all the VRIN scores. Other people are doing it, so there are substitutes. And so I just said, we're revamping his whole deal. Now, one thing that I do for a guy like that, sometimes people are just too busy. You might be too busy. I have a service. Now, I'm picky. I do not take on like 100 clients or something like that. But I have I set my business up with like agency. So I have like a marketing agency that I own that runs marketing for my different companies that I own, right? It's like called vertical integration. I have, a social media team that does for different brands for me. So I'll put my phone number below in the description or whatever. Now, just so you know, if you want us to basically do it all for you, okay? Like, we obviously, if it's a personal brand, we can't do it 100% without you. You're going to have to record a little bit, but we will just give you the scripts, exactly what to say. Then we'll take them and we'll repost them on sub accounts, and you'll start to get a lot of views. Okay? Now, I've got a monthly package where you can keep, but I like to start out with just a one-time fee. So this, for those of you who are business owners, you realize the power of views, you have a business, you have a product, you have a high-ticket product, and your main thing is you're not getting enough leads in the door. This is for you. Now, it's not cheap. It's not like $100. It's not a guide. This is us doing it for you. So we have different levels, but it really starts at around $25,000. Okay, one-time fee. You don't have to pay $25,000 a month. It's not $25,000 a month, but that we will get you, and how many views you're going to get guaranteed, or we'll keep going and keep working for free until you get those views. But you need to get millions of views. It's simple. You got to get millions of views. Okay, you don't necessarily. I get anywhere in the between 100 million a month and 1 billion I've gotten in a month. Okay, just depending on how hard I'm pushing it. But I was just talking to one of my private clients. His Instagram got 6,000 views. I'm like, what are you doing? You're squandering the greatest opportunity in the history of mankind. 4.5 people in the past. 4.5 billion people weren't all reading the same newspaper that you could advertise in, right? 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, when Nike came out, there wasn't. Now, that's why so many people advertised in the U.S. on the Super Bowl, because basically all of America was watching it. But now, better than Super Bowl advertising is getting more free views. Now, you can always do paid ads, but this training is not about paid ads. That's separate. That makes the social media companies and the billionaires richer. Learn to get organic free views. Now, you might have to pay somebody to jumpstart your accounts. Okay? Meaning giving you what to say at the beginning. You'll eventually learn it. Editing it in the right style. Posting it at the right time on the right platforms. You need a little bit different content, for example, on Twitter than you would need on Instagram. Twitter is text-based stuff, does better. TikTok, a certain style, especially with the right music involved. So we will do that for you. All the big personal brands out there are spending $100,000 to $300,000 a month on their social media presence. There's no longer the ability to really just completely bootstrap it. Okay, Mr. Beast, he says, you know, he's spending $2 to $6 million per video, but he's a multi-billionaire. So a lot of people are kind of not intelligent. They think of the price, not the return on investment. So Mr. Beast, let's say he posts, you know, a video a week, and let's just round it. Let's say he spends $5 million a month on videos. It's more than that, but let's just say for 12 months, so he spends $60 million. Well, he just published his numbers. He did 200 million some in revenue. But more importantly, his company just got valued at like 5 billion. And he owns a lot of the company. So he became a multi-billionaire by putting in the budget. So I just want to warn you, I was saying, like, people go, oh, I don't have to put in a budget. I'll just hire one cheap video editor guy for $2,000 and I'll just talk. And it's like, no. This is guaranteed failure. It's just guaranteed failure. You're not going to win at scale and get a lot of views. If you do it the way I'm saying, where you focus on the VRIN score. So what you say in the videos is what matters the most. So if we put an order and an echelon of how to get that and diagram how to get views and make money, more revenue, more sales, more leads, more cash flow, more status, more followers, a bigger personal brand, a bigger corporate brand, a bigger exit when you go to sell your company. By the way, that I was just talking to some guys. If you don't have a lot of organic views, private equity people value you much lower. They want brands that get a lot of views because they know they're getting free sales, which will be higher profit margins. And when you eventually sell your business, they're going to look at your profit margins. If your profit margins are 10% because you have so much expenses, they're going to give you a much lower payout when you sell your company than if you have 20, 30, 40% profit margins because you're getting so much free. Like I said, here, you know how much I paid for just this video alone in the last 24, 48 hours. It's got 5.7 plus, what did I say? TikTok was 4.9. So that's right there over 10 million. What do you think the value of tens of millions? By the way, there's a system, and I'll talk about this for a second, which is I created a Hall of Fame 100. So I take my 100 most viral videos. Okay, I call it my Hall of Fame 100, and I repost those a lot. And then I have my Hall of Fame 20, my 20 the most viral videos. And then I have my like top 5. So I post the top 5. I have many sub accounts. You can create fan accounts. They call them some people call them sub accounts. Some people call them daughter accounts, sister accounts. Some people call them, you know, clipping accounts. But essentially, I have a network of many, many accounts, and I take my top Hall of Fame 20 videos and I release them like daily on those different platforms. I actually have a complex posting calendar. But that most of you don't need that. This is, if any of you want to really know what it takes to go and get between 100 million and 1 billion views a month, I can give, that's a more advanced conversation we can have. That's something I don't want to overwhelm people. Most people, you need to focus on getting 1 to 10 million views a month on your personal brand or your products. 1 to 10 million a month is a real flow. You will notice everything getting better in your business. You know, a lot of people, it's funny, people now are like, oh, I need a SOP operation manual. Yeah, you do, but it's not. If we gave me a choice between having a company where I have good SOPs and medium amount of views or no SOPs and lots of views, I'm taking the lots of views. Even an idiot can make money if they're getting a lot of views, and some of them are. Some people get a lot of views, and the smartest cats, but they're making 10 million, they're making 20 million, and people are going, oh, I don't understand, that's not fair. Life's not structured to be fair. Life's structured around do this and you always get this outcome, regardless whether you're a good person or a bad person. A lot of people think, oh, why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? That's called cause and effect. If the nicest person you know jumps out of an airplane with no parachute, the universe doesn't go, you know what? You're a good guy. I'm going to let you not die. No, you die. And if an evil person jumps out of an airplane with a good parachute, they survive. And so when it comes to making money, a lot of the reasons, especially when it comes to getting views, growing your personal brand, getting free leads and all that, you're thinking that because you're trying, that you deserve a pat on the back, that you deserve the algorithm to start showing your video. But the viral video algorithm on TikTok or on Instagram, it's very ruthless. TikTok, like, so this one has 408,000 likes and right at 4.9 million views. If I don't post great content, here's something I did not post as good of content, and it got 4,000 views. Right? So even I, after been doing this for 15 years, the algorithm still, if I'm putting out content that's not hyper high VRIN score and compelling, it's like, I don't care if Ty Lopez has a lot of followers. I don't care he's been doing this. I'm going to give him 4,000 views or 12,000 views. Okay? So that's why I said you see the real it's very much Pareto principle, 20% of your posts will get 80% of your views. And so I've been able to cut the curve where every day I go viral. The average person who tries to do this on their own, you're going to go viral a couple times a month at best. Okay. It took me years of practice looking at, and by the way, the algorithm changes every year. So you have to relearn it. And right now I've got it just dialed in. I can be sure on some platform, I go viral every day. Oftentimes 2, 3, there's really 7 main platforms. Insta, TikTok, YouTube. Those are your 3 power ones. You can add in the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's 2 more. Then you have Twitter or X, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Facebook. You can add others like Pinterest and other things like that, but you have essentially 7-ish, depending on if you have a podcast, you have like 7-ish platforms. And that's the cool thing, because it's like you get to advertise on 7 Super Bowls. So if for the day my Instagram sucks, I don't care. I have a system. I have the team. I have the playbook. I have the formula. So there's almost never a day that things aren't going viral for me. So you need to implement a multi-platform strategy. That sometimes overwhelms people. People are like, I just want to be on one platform. And I'm like, I never quite understood that. It's free. You can sit in a chair in 1 hour or less and make an account on all 7+ platforms yourself, or you can have an assistant do it. It's not that hard. You want to be posting cross-platform, because if you have every single place that I posted this video here, I'll show you. This one, every single one. It wasn't just on TikTok that it went viral. It wasn't just on Instagram. A good piece of content goes viral everywhere. It went viral on Facebook. It went viral on YouTube. It went viral on Twitter. Now, not as much. The most viral was, in this case, that day. The algorithm is like you just wake up and sometimes it works. That day was YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. But I want you to go deep. And I want you to just remember that the number one thing is entrepreneurs are still locked into effort gets rewarded. That's not how the world works. The world rewards you for unique ability. Okay, that's VRIN score. That's VRIN score. Richest man in the world, Elon Musk, he knows how to build an electric car company at the same time as a company that sends things to Mars. That's pretty high VRIN score. It's valuable, inimitable, rare, non-substitute. So it's a high VRIN score. It's unique ability that he has. Now, you might not like him or his products, but you can't deny that he's not just getting paid for his effort. He's getting paid for his unique ability. So you have to cultivate this skill. The simplest way to cultivate it, I am telling you, is for us to do it at the beginning. This is like my Jumpstart program. So and by the way, you need to jumpstart your accounts. For example, especially like Facebook, which is a valuable one because a lot of people over 40 are still on Facebook. I don't use Facebook, but my mom does, right? So the cool thing about this system is you can just use, that's why at first, when I say it's 25 grand, that's just a one time. You don't have to keep paying us. Now, some people ask us to do it on an ongoing basis, but I'd like to jumpstart your accounts, get you views, reposition, re-edit the videos that you have that are good content, but they're not edited well, and get my team editing, releasing across multiple affiliate networks, across my different sub accounts that I have on my own social media. These are accounts that I own. Let's get that happening for you so that your accounts get jump started. You start to tell the algorithm, hey, people want to hear from me. And then over time, we kind of hand it off to you. From time to time, people are like, nah, just pay us. I'll just pay you monthly. That way I don't have to hire any employees. By the way, if you want to hire a team for this, it's not possible to hire somebody who knows how to do this. If you want to hire somebody, it's not possible to hire them for less than 150 grand. They're not good. If they would come be your employee and they'd say, oh, I'll just do this all for 30 grand, they're not going to be good. Now, if they're a fractional or an agency like what I have, then you don't have to pay salaries of a good social media marketer who comes to work for you. You're really going to have to, if you don't know how to do it yourself, you're going to need a really good person to make up for your weakness. That's going to cost at least $200,000 to $400,000, and you're going to need a couple people in the team. So the cool thing about getting views is never in history have you gotten paid and made so much money from views. Remember, in the past, you had, if you were a movie star, you had to pay your agent 20%. You had to negotiate with the studios. The studios made all the money, not the actor, not the individual. We now live in the rise of the individual, the personal brand. But the core fuel, the core driver, the core metric is how many views you're getting. And I see a lot of people that feel like they're good at social media. They have their viral video edited. In their mind, they're edited well. But the average one gets 100 views or 1,000 views or 2,000. By the way, that's actually bad. It's better. I told a guy the other day, you should take your social media down, dude. It's negative social proof. Remember, if somebody goes to your content, they're thinking of buying from you. They're looking for social proof. You know what? If I go and I see somebody has 1,000 views on his videos, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be in business with this. I'm like, I don't want to do business with this person. So you don't beware of negative social proof. The other reason you need views is it's kind of like a minimum. It's like your business card now. People look at the social proof. Oh, like if people stumbled across my account for the first time and they see an account that has 5.5 million views and it has 400,000 likes, people are like, wow. So that builds my brand's authority. If I was on average getting 40 views, I would take that account down, especially if it was my main verified account. So some people watching this video, I'm like, what are you doing? By the way, you don't have to, you can use this technique to build a faceless brand too. But no matter what, consider the Jumpstart program that I have. Like I said, we have the main package that's applicable for a lot of people. It's the $25,000 package. That might sound, by the way, that sounds like a lot to some people. I'm like, are you crazy? I remember when I passed more than 25 million invested into my personal brand. But you know, it was the best return on investment I've ever had of anything I've ever invested in. I bought, I built my first business, online business in 2001. I bought my first investment real estate, 2004. I was still living in Raleigh, North Carolina. I bought real estate. I've done the stock market. I used to manage money in the stock market for people. I used to work for GE Capital, GE Financial. So I've done that. I bought everything you can think of, from gold to crypto to this. The best return on my investment has been the money I put in to grow how many views I get per month and per year. That is the gift that never stops giving. And it's like a pension. It's like money. Everybody says, oh, I want recurring passive income. Best passive income is getting a lot of views, because you can also point those views to whatever you're doing. If you decide to change businesses, you're bored of what you do. Once you have the views coming in, you've built yourself as a brand, or your product as a brand. They keep coming in on autopilot. Every single day for the last 15 years, I have made money while I was sleeping. Like literally the hours that I was asleep. I'm not sure ever. I'm sure maybe there was a day, but I doubt in the last 10, 15 years, there's really been one night I went to sleep that I was getting views and it was turning into sales, money. I would say probably every day for 10 years straight. And that's because I know how to get views and I know how to go viral. I've done this Jumpstart on myself, 15 years ago. I posted my first video on YouTube in 2009. This is how I remember it. I was with my friend Zach, rest in peace. He sadly died. We were at the Laugh Factory, Sunset Boulevard, and I held up, you can see it. I'm like, hey, Zach, I'm filming us. And now I can upload this right here. Right here, I can upload this. And he's like, huh? Back then, you couldn't upload to YouTube. Was pretty new. Instagram didn't exist. LinkedIn didn't exist. Twitter existed, but no video. Facebook existed, but it wasn't much video back then. So 09, I've been doing this now, it's crazy, more than 15 years. We'll look at your Insta. Either it's not always me, I'm busy sometimes, but I jump on. If the situation's right. If you've got a bigger business, you might need me. If you have a small to medium-sized business, my team is good. These are the people behind me getting hundreds of millions or more. I mean, YouTube, I forget, 3 billion minutes watched. That's another metric to track, views and minutes watched. I just like to keep it simple by saying views, but there's sub-metrics of views. There's a sub-metric of views, for example, would be, minutes watched. Because if you get 1 million views on a 1-second video, is not as good as 100,000 views on a 10-minute video. So minutes watched, but I don't recommend the beginning. We just go for raw views. So go here or click here. There might be a button too that will take you right to book a call on the calendar. Now, once again, this is my one preface for this thing. This is not my Jumpstart program that will do it for you. Is not for beginners. It's not for somebody who's like, hey, Ty, I'm sleeping in my car. I got $5 in my bank account. Can you, for that, and by the way, it's not me being arrogant or looking down on you. I've been there, man. It's just, I have to pay my team to do this. So I couldn't do it for $1, right? This isn't even that profitable. 25 grand sounds like a lot, but I think of how much money you spend on marketing if you do paid ads. Think how much money you're leaving on the table. Just think for a second if you're a business owner. How much money have you potentially left on the table in the last 1 year, 2 years, 10 years? It's a shockingly traumatic number if you're honest with yourself. Say, what if I'd been getting a lot more views, a lot more visitors, a lot more leads, a lot more people in the door by going viral for free, not having to pay for paid ads or marketing? Like, how much more money would be in your bank account? You need to fix. Sometimes I lie awake at night and ask myself that question, because that's the core motivator. When you realize that you've been leaving money on the table, you stop doing it. So, but you got to be honest. So let us jumpstart you. 25 grand's nothing to jumpstart you. Like I said, my profit margin is not even high on doing this. The reason I do it, it leads into long-term relationships in business partnerships, in more advanced stuff, buying companies together, or me investing in your business or buying your company or things like that. But I like to start, I need to know the foundation now of all wealth, or I should say 90% of wealth, excluding inheriting your money, is, can you get views? If the answer is yes, you can get views, then you're always going to have money in your bank account. You're always going to be more profitable than your competitors. You're always going to have a quality problem. You know what a quality problem? I have a quality problem. Quality problem. Right now, for just some new products I launch, I get so many leads. I literally have hired 60 new phone salespeople to handle, and still not enough for the lead flow. 60. I had to hire 60 people in the last, it's not even 4 weeks. So, but that's a quality problem. I'm never going to complain about having too many leads, because I know, but there was a time where I didn't really know only views I know how to get was on paid ads. I didn't know how to do viral. This is back in 2006, 2007, 2008. I was doing paid ads. I was one of the first Google advertiser apps. So I've been doing paid ads since 01. And back then, yeah, there was MySpace and there was the beginning of Facebook, but it was harder to go viral. There was no video. High-speed internet was not so prevalent. People still had dial-up. And so now, with the way the world's progressed, it's the best time ever to do this. I mean, if you could just see sometimes I wish I could just create a simulator and just snap your fingers and here's how much money you're making now with your business. Here's your sales. Here's your revenue every day, every month, every year. Let me show you a parallel universe where you're getting a lot of views. You would drop everything. You'd stop reinvesting into real estate. You'd stop reinvesting into your business. You just go, I'm reinvesting into things that get me views, because that will make more money in the overall system. That will put more money in your bank account, your business bank account and your personal. And it has a long residual cycle. It keeps paying you for years. I could stop posting and I would still get sales every day for years. I took a couple years off. I was busy. In 2021, I took a couple years off. You can still make millions. If you've gotten enough views leading up to that point, you can take a break. You could take 6 months off. Now, you will have a drop if you're not posting, if you're not creating any new content. But I'm just saying, if you quit a regular job, you don't keep getting paid for years. Okay? That's not how the world works. So, in hindsight, it's like Freud said, in hindsight, the years of struggle will be the sweetest. I would say for the modern world, in hindsight, the money put into getting a lot of views on your personal brand or your products will be the sweetest use of money you ever had. You'll go, I should have done that earlier. Like if I knew what I know now, I would have been, I would have, I don't know, borrowed $100 million and reinvested it all into getting more views, doing more giveaways, doing more contents, doing more collabs, doing paid podcast spots, boosting videos. You can boost organic stuff with a little bit of marketing spend too. Of course, I would have spent some of that. I would put another 100. I'd put 100 million more. Like I said, I've put more than 50 million into my brand, both in reinvestments and upfront. I should have done 150 million. Mr. Beast he said last year he reinvested all 200 million of revenue. So he's putting in 200, but he's a multi-billionaire at 27. So you play smart games, you get smart rewards. You play smart games, you get the reward, as the old saying goes. To the victor goes the spoils. He was a victor, but he wasn't cheap. So anyway, if that's you, click the link below, depending on where you're watching this, and we can talk about how many views you'll get. Okay, there's a certain amount of views you're going to get from that package. We have a minimum guarantee. There's a certain amount of reels we're going to do for you. Now, you might have to record them, but we're going to do all the editing and give you the scripts. It's much easier. And by the way, when we give you scripts, you can mess up because we'll edit all your mess ups out. So for those of you who are a little shy on camera, you're not going to be live. That's the cool thing. So I don't care if you're an introvert. You need to get views. And once again, if you can use this Jumpstart $25,000 package, you can use this Jumpstart package also for something different. If you don't want your face, we can use it to blow up your products. There's community brands. CrossFit's a community brand. There's supplement brands that are going viral. There's, tech brands that go viral. And so we can do it either for you as a person, get you more views, or if you have a service-based business, we'll get more views on there. Or if you have a product, physical or digital, we can get more there. If you're a coach, if you're an author, if you're in real estate, if you're a realtor, if you're a real estate investor, if you're raising capital, if you have an AI company, if you have a tech company, if you have SMMA, if you are a public speaker, or every one of those categories needs to jumpstart their view. Now, if you can hack it and you start living and dreaming about VRIN Score and you're like, okay, 1 to 10, what's my value? 1 to 10, how rare is this? 1 to 10, how inimitable is this? 1 to 10, how non-substitutable is this? And you can really dial it in. You don't need my Jumpstart program. You can do it yourself. But you will have to know how to get the content reposted and edited correctly. Because step 1 is the right content where you're saying the right thing. Step 2 is edited correctly. Step 3 is posted at the right time, at the right place, on the right platform. Step 4 is the right kind of remixes and sequences. Step 5 is getting it on the right networks of other people's accounts. Because if you look, a lot of the people you follow, they're not just going viral on their own personal accounts. They're using fan account, sub account. Joe Rogan is essentially the most listened to person in the world right now. He gets the most views, downloads, and he gets more views on Joe Rogan clips, JRE clips. It's not even his main YouTube channel or main Instagram. So we can get clipping armies and networks of people doing this for you. So if you don't have any money, then keep watching my stuff. Smash the subscribe button and engage with my content, like and comment, or you can dislike if you want, just some kind of engagement, because it'll then, if you just follow is not as good as following and commenting, because the algorithm will show you my content more. And I talk about this a lot. I mean, like I said, I don't know if ChatGPT is right, that I'm the 4th best person in history in making money from social media, social media, you know. I don't know if I'm number 4. There's some good people out there, but I'm not number 20. I'm not. There's 127 million people who call themselves social media, you know, influencers, personal brands. And, you know, if you look at what I've been able to reverse engineer, whether I'm 4 or 10, I don't know, but I don't know anybody in the top 5, like I was ranked, that offers this as a service. And I don't always even do it. I just have a test group open now. I open up test. I've been opening up my first test group in 2014. I close them. So I've got the test group open now for my Jumpstart program. I've been doing, it's been working. It works magnificently. People are just, I was just talking to a guy. I was like, I was stuck. He was stuck at 500 views. Like literally now he is getting, I'll show you this WhatsApp conversation. I was looking at his average views. I'll show you. He's in Texas guy. Right here. I said, looks like my remix system is working. Like this is his content, right? I said, look like my remix. Well, 49,000. Here was his post. 44,000, 21,000, 49,000, 30.8, 49,000, 21.5. So his last 6 posts, the highest was 49,000, the lowest was 21.2. 3 months ago, before this guy had my team Jumpstart his social media, he was lucky to get 100. He was getting 100 views, 200 views. At best, 1 or 2,000. At best. He's now 10x'd it or 20x'd it. Okay? That's a game changer. That's a game changer. So he had been trying for a long time on his own. Everybody's been trying. Like, unless your head's in the sand, everybody realizes they should be getting views. Everybody's like, I should be getting more views. So click the button below. Book a time on the calendar to talk. And by the way, this is really only for people already making money. Okay? If you're brand new starting out, you need to do this on your own. If you're a busy business owner, it's quicker to pay us and better. And it will not only save you money, actually, because you're going to spend way more learning by trial and error, making mistakes, hiring the wrong people, hiring the wrong, people are like, oh, I found an agency. I'm like, how many agents? Ask if that agency is in the top 10 social media marketers of all time. If they ain't in there, like, why not work with the best or with the top? I always say life is better when you work with the titans. So I got my test group open. If you're ready to supercharge, we've got different packages. Like I said, the core package is the pro package is the $25,000 one. If you have a bigger business, we can get, some people go, Ty, I want to throw, I've had people be like, here's 500 grand. Let's go crazy with my personal brand. By the way, they make back crazy money. But I realize that most people in the world are timid, and I get it. Like, I know, I get the psychology of the world. I don't know who you are watching this video. The odds are you're a low risk taker or medium risk taker. The weird thing, though, the hardest thing in the world is to be a low risk taker who wants to make a lot of money in a relatively short time. That doesn't happen. If you're a low risk taker, you can make money in 40 years. Like Warren Buffett filed his first tax return at 9 or 10, and he made his first billion at 51. So he likes low and steady. He doesn't want to take much risk, So that's a 40-year plan. where I'm like, I meet people and they're like, oh, no, I want to make, I just had a guy today tell me he's going to build a company worth 500 billion. I said, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I don't want to shoot your dreams down, but he told me his business plan. I'm like, that's not a 500 billion market cap. There's only a few companies in history that are 500. McDonald's is like $150 billion market. You're going to build something 4 times more valuable and you've never even built a business. So, but I see guys like that, but then they're cheap. I'm like, wait a sec. You want a lot of output. You want to take a lot of money. You want to make a lot of money, but you don't want to input capital. Never. It doesn't work. If you remember one thing from this video, you want to get a lot of views, inject capital into getting views. Not buying fake views, though. That is a waste of your money. So if you're sitting on $10 million, don't take $1 million and get, I've seen people, rich guys, you know, oh, I want social proof. Oh, I want girls to like me. So they buy an account that has, you know, 1 million followers. They pay 50 grand or whatever for it. And then they get these bot networks you can get, like fake networks. And they're getting them views, but it's always something weird. Like it'll get a lot of views and like 3 comments. So anybody with a brain is like, this guy's buying, you know, they'll have 100,000 views in 1 comment. So, that's my one thing. Throw capital at it, but not to buy fake stuff. That's the one exception where capital won't help you. But doing giveaways, I mean, that's what I did. That's what Mr. Beast did. That took capital. I gave away. Every Friday, I gave away a car or $10,000 cash. Mustang, brand new Mustang. Gave away a lot of, I forget how many, a dozen cars. I made back, 100x. That's why I'm always surprised people don't invest more in views. I'm like, let me get this straight. You're excited if your real estate investment portfolio does 18% IRR. You're like, whoa, man, look at this. I'm the best real, or maybe 20%. People in crypto, like I know Michael Saylor. He's the second largest Bitcoin owner. He was on my podcast a couple months ago. He has billions, okay? It got billions. I think he has 100 billion or something in Bitcoin. He predicts Bitcoin's going to go up 30%. Well, that's good, but I like Bitcoin, but my personal putting money into me getting more legitimate views from the right people in the right countries, like that's another thing. Don't just get views in countries that Bangladesh or something. If you don't sell into Bangladesh, sometimes people, that's to me is almost a little bit false. It's not as bad as fake followers because they're real humans. But if they can never buy from you, you got a plumbing company in California, like what's the advantage of getting a big following in Bangladesh, right? So anyway, I look back on my return on investment compared to even things that I do like. I like Bitcoin. I've been telling people to buy Bitcoin for almost 10 years, but it didn't make me as much money as reinvesting and getting legitimate views that turned into sales. Nothing else no piece of real estate could have done that. Because real estate's more local. One good piece of content can reach people in your entire country, entire continent, the entire world. I have global products, so I don't mind. I don't mind if people from Bangladesh watch. I get sales in Bangladesh. I get sales in South Africa. I get Nigeria. I get Brazil. I get Chile. I get, the Cook Islands. It's funny. I've looked at sales generated from my social media. It's 190 countries. Have purchased. That's almost all the countries in the world. There's only a few countries that I haven't. So, exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Get excited. The reward is bigger than ever. Never. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Henry Ford, they didn't have the ability from their phone or from a laptop to reach 4 billion. There wasn't even 4 billion people on Earth. There was a billion back, a billion. Now there's 8 times more people, and half of them are on phones, and 1 million new people a day are getting access to high-speed internet and social media to watch your videos, to see your carousels, to see your remixes, to see your sequences. All you got to do is master VRIN Score and then master the distribution network. How do you get a whole bunch of people reposting your stuff? I get hundreds of people reposting my stuff every month. That helps me you know, if you want to do 100 million plus views like me a month, 100 million to a billion, you're going to probably not be able to do it only on your verified accounts. Maybe Mr. Beast gets, you know, 500 million views or 400 million views on one video, but he's got 300 million subscribers. That's rare. The guy, he's really good he's the best at YouTube. But make no mistake, Mr. Beast's success is because he got a lot of views. He could have been doing those videos. His wealth is directly straight line proportional, probably even exponential, because to the amount of views he gets. So just if you go from 1,000 views a month on your products or your personal brand to 100,000, that's not 100x. But because you still don't have enough social proof. People, like 1 million people need to see you. That's why I say in the Jumpstart program, I want to make sure you're getting between 1 to 10 million. That will jumpstart you. That's enough social proof, enough likes. The algorithm has seen it across different platforms. Remember, some things are multi-platform, like Instagram and Facebook's owned by the same company. So what you do on Instagram can make it to the Facebook algorithm, and there's cross-posting and all this stuff. Twitter now has got some cool stuff with Elon Musk. You know, he's changed the algorithm a lot. I've been watching it. So if you want to just have this done for you, and you don't have to figure out VIN Score, and you don't have to figure out the content networks, and you don't have to hire a whole bunch of editors, and you just want us to just hand this to you on a plate. If you got the money, we got the honey. If you don't have the money, you have to do what I did when I had no money, which is I had to do it the hard way, the slower way. But it'll still work out. If you don't have the money, don't give up. Crack the code. Study the algorithm. Remix hot, trending Google alert. You can set Google alerts to what Google trends, Google Trends, and then you can set alerts that are coming to you. Get a really good writer. If you feel like you're not good at knowing what to say, you can just read. I've read off teleprompter. Some of my most viral stuff has just been me improvising, and other stuff's been straight off a teleprompter that somebody else wrote, or I wrote myself, and that way I just read, follow along. And it's not that hard, ladies and gentlemen. The reward's here. Don't overthink this. If you have no money, continue to watch my stuff as we dissect how to do this. There's so much covered here. It's like, this is like the foundational video. If you got the money, click the button. And leave a comment, by the way, on what my next follow-on video to this should be about.